What's up, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a video game review. And for today's review, we are going to be taking a look at ARMS for the Nintendo Switch, the first game so far, or the first game developed by Nintendo that was developed specifically for the Switch. Now, as by now everyone knows, the Switch has really started to take off. It has become a hit. It has sold very well, even though technically there has been sort of an issue with, the whole supply and demand kind of a situation. That said, though, for the most part, most of the games that have come out for the Switch, at least for now, that's probably will change down the road, but at least for now, have mostly been ports of games either probably released last gen or so on. Outside of maybe a couple games that have been released on the Switch that might be multi-plat, depending on how you want to look at it. One example would probably be Has Been Hero or Puyo Puyo Tetris. Most of the games that I've seen so far on the Switch, most, not all of them though, have been basically ports of like last gen. Mario Kart 8, fun game definitely indeed, but that is a enhanced version of the game originally released on the Nintendo Wii U. Even Breath of the Wild, good game as well, basically was a port of the Wii U version that was later brought over to the Switch. And even Ultra Street Fighter 2, The Final Challenger, again, fun game. I did a review on that one as well, but that is a port of a game that was released back in 2008 as a download for the PS3 and 360. So it was nice to see that we finally have our first real game developed for the Switch, ARMS. And having invested about maybe a week or two into the games, I will say ARMS is a fun game, but there are a couple of hiccups. So being this is Nintendo's first game that they developed specifically for the Switch though, like I said, it is good, but there are some hurdles here and there. So why don't we get started with our pros and cons? So why don't we start first with the pros? First of all, I have to say, visually speaking, the game looks good. I mean, the graphics in the game are really, really good looking. I like the color, the art style, and the way a lot of the characters are designed, though. Interestingly enough, the game does run at 1080p 60 frames per second when in console mode, 720p and 60 frames per second when in portable or tablet mode. Bear in mind also the game does drop to 30 when I believe you have like 4 players playing though. This is pretty much similar to how it is with Mario Kart 8 as well, but visually speaking it looks nice. The next pro I want to talk about is the different type of control scheme, and like Mario Kart 8 there are plenty of control schemes you can choose for ARMS. You could play the game with the motion controls if you want to. I haven't tried that out yet, but that is an option. You could play it with the Pro controller, you could play it with the Joy-Con grip if you have that, or you can even use a single Joy-Con and hold it like that, like the NES controller. So plenty of options of control schemes to use though. I prefer the Pro controller or the one with the Joy-Con grip, but again, that's to everyone's different style and taste or what control scheme they think works best for them. The next thing and this is probably a good one for me, is that this is a game that's easy to use, but it is tough to master, though. That's the kind of gameplay it is. A lot of it is, even though ARMS is a fighting game, it's not I wouldn't go as far as call it a traditional fighting game. You don't have like special moves or anything like that to learn or anything. You basically is you select the type of arms for your character. You can unlock them with the in-game currencies, and you figure out if that's the best strategy to go against your opponent. Also, you gotta keep in mind each character also has their own unique styles and all. Ribbon Girl can jump twice. Mechanica basically can take more damage than the other characters are. Same with Master Mummy, although if he guards, he can heal himself. Springman, my main man though, can basically, instead of like holding down the jump or the dash button to activate any of the arms, unique elements that they have, like either fire or ice, when his health is down a little bit, those will be activated automatically. So each character has their own unique approach. Each arms has their own, unique approach, their own strength, and you got to figure out which arm works best for you, and how to utilize that against your opponent. So, in other words, the gameplay is very easy. I mean, you only have to learn, the punch with your left and right arm, and push both buttons together, or push thrust forward with the Joy-Con grips if you're using the motion controls to, grab an opponent. And other than that, it's a very simple, very easy to use gameplay, though. It's the challenge, so it's basically an easy to use, tough to master kind of gameplay, at least how I look at it, though. And last but not least, outside of the main part of the game, the Grand Prix, there are plenty of fun game modes out there. There's 1 versus 100, there's team battles, there's 2 of my favorite modes I like, hoops and volleyball. With hoops, though, you basically grab your opponent and you basically either throw them through the hoop like in basketball, or slam dunk them, or perform a slam dunk. Or the V-ball, which is basically a volleyball-like mode, except that if the ball hits the ground, though, it will explode and the opponent gets a point. But in either way, there's plenty of modes to play in this game. There's also, an online mode where you could play party mode, which basically is random events and random, different modes against your opponent. So, but overall, there's plenty of modes to play outside the Grand Prix, both offline and online as well. Alright, we're going to take a little bit of a break. When we come back, I will get to the cons. Plus, I forgot to mention this in the beginning, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the movie Transformers: The Last Knight that I just recently saw. So, take a little bit of a break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of our review of ARMS for the Nintendo Switch. Now that we got the pros out of the way, we'll get to the cons, and after that I'll give you my thoughts of the movie Transformers: The Last Knight that I saw today in theaters. So, while I get my list out, or my notes exactly. Okay, so as far as the cons go with ARMS, we'll start up with the first one, though, and that is there's no, unfortunately, as of where it stands right now, there is no campaign and story mode. While Grand Prix right now, if I'm saying the name correctly, apologize if I'm not, is basically the single player mode, though. It would have been nice to see a campaign and story mode in the game. It would be nice and interesting to learn a little bit more of the backstories of a lot of these characters, whether it's Min Min, Mechanica, Nijaro, Springman, Ribbon Girl, and so on. So it is somewhat a little bit disappointing. And even though I'm not a big on fighting games or anything else, I do most of the time I will play the single player just for the story. That might be cheesy for some people, that might not interest a whole lot of people, but that's the kind of person that I am. So it is somewhat disappointing that there is no campaign or story mode in ARMS, at least right now. The next option is going to the next con is that while there are plenty of ways you could play the game in terms of what kind of control scheme works best for you, motion controls, like I said, Pro controller, Joy-Con grip, single Joy-Con. There is, however, no option at the time to change any of the control schemes or assign any of the certain buttons. That, at least right now, it's available, which brings me to the other con, which is the fact that I find that to be a little bit disappointing, because for me, and this is me though, I find that clicking on the right analog stick or clicking and holding it down to guard just feels a little bit awkward. I would like to be able to make some adjustments and change it, or maybe map it to a different button, since ARMS doesn't use a whole lot of buttons on a controller. Although, I mean, I can understand it being used if you're playing with, like, say, the single Joy-Con. That probably makes sense because you don't have a whole lot of buttons to use. But as far as using, like, say, a Pro controller or the Joy-Con grip, it would have been nice to have that option so I don't have to constantly click on the right analog stick to guard, since the right analog stick is also for you to move your character. So it sort of feels a little bit awkward on that part. The next one is the grinding in the game. Now, for those who are unaware, every time you play, like Grand Prix or any of the other modes in the game, you do earn in-game currency or arms currencies, which you can use to play a sort of a mini game to basically, get a high score. And during that mini game, you can also, it's sort of like one of the target practice modes, and during one of the mini games, you'll see like a present. If you hit that gets you like a new set of arms for your characters. It's nice, but here's the problem. When playing the game, though, you don't get a lot of in-game currency money, though. I mean, in some cases, when I'm playing Grand Prix, I'll get like maybe 4 in-game currencies, where if you're playing in other modes, you might get 1 or 2. And the problem is when you compete in this mode to earn like different arms, it's like 30 for one mode, though 30 arms currency, then there's like 100 and 200. So the grinding in the game, especially to get new arms, is just annoying as hell. I mean, I would have preferred if there was like you earn money to buy arms, or at least give us a little bit more currency than what the game than what you get when you win a match, or at least cut the price down for like if you want to compete in any of the mini games to collect new sets of arms. I mean, there's, like I said, there's one for 30, 100, and like 200. I think it's a little bit outrageous, and I think the grinding is a little bit annoying for this game. And finally, last but certainly not least, there isn't really a whole lot of content into the game right now. I'm not saying that what they have there is bad by any chance. It's just that outside of the Grand Prix and all the party modes and arena modes in the game, so like hoops, v-ball, target practice, twin battles, that's pretty much it. There's like nothing. There's no really any content or anything available, at least for now. Supposedly Nintendo will offer free updates for the game. We know that we're getting a new character, so supposedly that's happening. And if that's true, and I'm leaning a little bit towards that they are going to do that, then yeah, the arms can definitely take off. But right now, there isn't a whole lot of content or a lot of modes available at this time, and some people might get bored to death very quickly. Overall, ARMS is definitely a fun game, make no mistake. It's simple controls, it's easy to use, tough to master gameplay, and basically the modes in the game are fun. I mean, I love the character designs, I love the visuals, I love the modes that they have available. But right now, ARMS is kind of in this position that Splatoon was in when that came out. There isn't a whole lot of modes available right now, but over time, assuming Nintendo updates it, that we'll probably see more and more modes come in to make it feel like a full package than to where it is right now. So, sort of in that kind of awkward spot. That being said, though, I still think it's a fun game. I still think it's worth checking out. Even if you're not big on fighting games like I am, the simple controls, simple, easy to use controls, but tough to master gameplay, definitely I felt didn't turn me off though, so hopefully it won't turn you off. And here's to hoping that the game does find success, and hopefully, and who knows, we might see ARMS in maybe an esport event down the road. Whether that happens or not, we don't know, but we saw it with Smash Brothers. It's possible that it could happen to ARMS as well. So, but overall, it's a good game, but at the same time, it does feel a bit incomplete for now. That will probably change down the road, but for right now, that's sort of the position that ARMS is in right now. Okay, before I end this video, I do want to give you my thoughts on the movie Transformers: The Last Knight. This is something I saw when I went to the theaters today, and I have to say, for all the criticism the movie has gotten as being like, oh, it's awful, it's bad, I have to say, it wasn't as terrible as critics say it is. Now, bear in mind, if you're going to see this movie, it's basically a popcorn flick. It's a dumb, fun popcorn flick. The plot is just absurd because it evolves around King Arthur and the whole Knights of the Round Table, and involves, you know, these Transformers, much like how they made up the story of how the dinosaurs were killed off because of the Transformers that came like billions and billions of years ago, and all that, yada, all that. So the plot is basically absurd, but I didn't hate the movie. I mean, I thought it wasn't as, while it may not have been as good as, say, the first Transformer movie that came out back in 2007. Wow, like it was like 10 years ago. Or Dark of the Moon. To me, I don't think it's as awful as, say, Revenge of the Fallen was. Okay, and I do think it's slightly better than Age of Extinction was. I know that the movie, it is a Michael Bay movie. I know not everyone will like it. I know everyone will not agree with it, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a dumb, fun popcorn flick. That's what I was going in expecting, and that's what I got out of it. All right. I mean, it may not appeal to everyone. I know everyone doesn't like Michael Bay or anything like that, but you know what? His movies can be a hit or miss. There are some movies I like from him. There are some I don't. This, I thought, was a good movie from him, and I went into a matinee. It was well worth it, though. The plot may not appeal to everybody, though. It's not going to win an Academy Award, but if you go into basically what you expected to see, a dumb, fun popcorn flick, you'll enjoy it. Alright? Again, it's not going to be for everyone, but who knows. And in case anyone who saw my last video where I gave my thoughts about Beatrice at dinner, I would like to say, yes, I am that kind of a person. I am someone who could see a political movie like that and think it's interesting, and yet see a dumb, fun popcorn flick like Transformers The Last Night and enjoy it. That kind of movie. Yes, so I am that kind of a person. Just like to point that out, though. Okay, this concludes my review of ARMS, plus my thoughts on the movie Transformers The Last Night. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours, though? Have you picked up ARMS yet? Have you not picked up ARMS yet? Are you enjoying the game? Do you enjoy what the game has offered right now? Or are you not 100% sold on the game? Or you don't like what's being offered for ARMS at this moment, though? Are you picking up the game but still having a hard time to find a Switch, or you have a Switch but you have no desire to pick this game up? And what about my thoughts on Transformers The Last Night? Did you see the movie? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Do you agree with my review of my thoughts on Transformers The Last Night? Do you disagree? Do you agree with my review of ARMS? Do you disagree with my review of ARMS for the Nintendo Switch? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And I also hope you hit that like button as well. Also, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to. And I also feel free to share this video if you like. And of course, if you wish to donate to my channel, that would be great. Link will be in the description below this video. You could do it through Patreon or PayPal me. And anyway, this concludes my video review of ARMS and my thoughts of Transformers The Last Night. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that will be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then.